Let me give you even bigger news than that.
That's absurd.
Let me give him bigger news than that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yesterday, Joe announced very happily that like this was supposed to be big news that you once worked on Busted Radio. So
it's like this. Larry was on Busted Open Radio.
Before he worked here,
like me and Konnan would be like, "Wow, really?" It's like, hey, can you send me a link because I've never listened to Busted Open Radio?
Yeah, I remember when my contract, it was a year-to-year contract, right? So like contract. They go 5 days a week. Oh, it's Sirius XM, so they're going 5 days a week, right? So they hire.
Here's the funny thing about Busted Open Radio.
Yeah,
is that the name of the show, Busted Open Radio, literally sounds like something that a Mark would name the show.
Well, the guy that
who is it now?
Dave LaGreca, who came up with it.
But doesn't he have Mark Henry and Bubba on that show?
Now he does. Yeah.
Who is on the Busted Open Radio Network? Who's on that show?
It's LaGreca, Mark Henry.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard that. I have no clue who that guy is. Okay,
what's his background? Because I've seen him on TV, like on Impact or something, and I'm like, who the is this guy?
So he was an NFL producer for Sirius XM NFL Radio.
Really?
His brother is the co-host on the Michael K. Show.
Who?
This guy actually left
Michael K. Show's the ESPN
to
New
get
York
into wrestling stuff.
So I can give you the whole. Yes. So
it's kind of weird. I would
because he was a wrestling fan, probably.
The football network, it's like a football.
So him and this other guy whose name I forget, and then Doug Mortman, who is a senior operations guy at Sirius, created Busted Open. They were doing the show for free. They weren't getting paid extra for it. It was just like a show.
How long ago was this? Did it start?
God, it's got to be 15 years now or something like that, maybe a little longer.
All right, here's my question.
Rebby Hardy was on it.
What clout did you have to get onto that show at the
what credentials?
Yeah, what credentials?
So Rebby Hardy was on the show before she met Matt. Rebby was on the show before she met Matt.
Before she met Matt. Okay.
Yeah, before she met Matt.
Oh, that's a long time ago, huh?
Yeah.
How old are you? Wait, Larry, how old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay.
So I had met Rebby at a Giant game when she was the New York Giants girl.
Wait a minute, Rebby was a New York Giants. What do you?
No, her gimmick was the New York Giants girl. She was like Miss Howard Stern. She was the New York Giants girl. This is before anyone knew her.
What is that? What is that? You assume we know.
I don't really know. I don't know anything about Rebby.
She was a super fan
until she's like, super
like the Kevin Gill.
Really,
the hot girl.
Rebby's a Giants fan.
She was on. Yeah, she was on cover of Sports.
We should get her on. We should actually have her on the show for Sports Talk one week.
So she was known as.
And actually, you know what we should do? We should have Rebby and what's the no Rebby and who's the her dad? Well, what's his name?
Senor Benjamin.
We should have them on Senor Benjamin.
The Mexican Senor Benjamin
during fight week.
Puerto Rican.
Because Senor Benjamin likes boxing.
No.
Yeah.
Wait. You don't understand. It's a running joke. A long time ago, Juventud was on the show. He had his own. He had on the Juicy Love line or something.
Yeah, right.
And so it was just all sorts of ridiculous, as you can imagine.
As Hoovy would, yeah.
And so one time we had Senor Benjamin on, and Hoovy was on the show, and he was like, What's the thing that you missed the most about Mexico? And he's like, well, you see, and he goes, no. What's the juiciest thing that you miss about Mexico? And he goes, and he kept it, and he wouldn't let him get it out. And then finally, when he finished, he goes, I'm Puerto Rican, not Mexican. That was hilarious.
So
it's way funnier than I just explained it by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had met Rebby at a Giant game, found out that she was into wrestling. She was on that Lucha show on MTV. That was not Lucha Underground. It was Lucha whatever.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Kleinrock
Lucha
show.
Libre USA?
Yes, there you go.
The MTV one?
Lucha Libre USA?
The MTV one, yeah.
That was on MTV3. That shouldn't even be called.
Yeah.
Like, who had that?
Yeah.
So I found out that she did wrestling. I was working Evolve, and I needed like a heater or something. So I asked her like if she'd come to work an Evolve show with Gabe and stuff like that. And she said yes, and I got her booked on that show with me. She like basically made my career at that moment. Like I had nothing going on until she worked with me. And then I met Dave.
Anyone else like Larry was trying to put the moves on the future Mrs. Matt Hardy, or am I crazy here?
And then I took her to meet Matt the day she met Matt at the show that she did in Poughkeepsie. But that's how I met LaGreca. And then like literally I would go in as a guest.
Okay, so this guy was an NFL producer and he decided he was doing a wrestling show for free. Correct. When was he able to monetize it or get on Sirius?
When we went 5 days, which would have been 2017. We went 5 days a week. He got to leave NFL producing. I got my contract. I was on 3 days a week. We brought Bully Ray in.
Again, how? Because you brought Rebby to Evolve?
That's how I met him. And I would just go fill in, and I became like a guest host whenever they needed someone to work for free, to go in there and make no money. I guest hosted for a couple of years. Like
to get a rub, kind of, right?
Yeah, just to get my name out there and see what it went to. I enjoyed it. And then when they went 5 days, I got hired. They brought Bubba in, and then like things go. The year goes on. They bring Mark Henry. That all of a sudden when it got 5 days, all the wrestlers, all the sharks are swimming around the water. Yeah. Tommy's in more and more, and him and Bubba are like burying me when I'm not there on the air. And Mark Henry.
Well, I heard Dave said you weren't that good, and once he found somebody that was, they let you go.
That could be it. But so me and Mark Henry had a test show together to do a second wrestling show. They took us out to a nice dinner, everything like that, and then I was told like, "Oh, we'll talk about your contract. We'll talk about your contract." I like led host for 5 days straight. Came in. I come in like the first day of the year of 2018, and like literally, I get a text like halfway through the show, like, "Oh, we got to talk afterwards." I'm like, "Oh, great, we're gonna talk about my contract." And I was like, they're like, after it was done, they're like, "Yeah, we're not re-signing you." And it was like Henry, Dreamer, and Bully going forward, and that's what it is now. Now it's more of like a hype machine, and because Mark's on AEW, Bubba's in No Man's Land, and Dreamer's
Bubba's an Impact.
I know it's close enough to No Man's Land.
They're both. Right.
Yeah,
let's get into the Mexican wrestling minute. We've talked enough about.
Well, now Hughley has something. Larry Dallas buries Bubba and Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah,
let me tell you something.
Larry Dallas.
I guarantee you that Rebby Hardy has probably got to be miserable living in North Carolina with all those rednecks.
I have no comment. I mean, she has family.
People like getting away from the tri-state area.
I mean, like you take a Jersey girl, and where's she from? Jersey, or is she from where's she from? New York or Jersey?
New York.
Yeah, take a New York girl and send them down south. So everything they're not going to be very happy.
But it also to me, all my years in the business, LaMonica Bubba is like the biggest I've ever met in the business. Like
Bubba is. What's funny too? I always heard it was funny too. I'd never really worked with Bubba until I went back to Impact and worked with him for a little bit. But I'd always heard he was a jerk and stuff and thing. But bro, let me tell you something. What I got from backstage, it's like he was very well liked. He was a funny guy. He was always out. We'd be the monitor. He'd be funny. So I did not get the that vibe from him that he's a. That's just my personal interactions with him,
If he doesn't respect you, and like he had obviously to him I did nothing, so like he had no respect for me, and I'm not taking anyone because I don't give a that you're Bubba. You were the sixth guy in a 5-person match at WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't give a. And
he blew me off until he found out I was on the show, and he was like, "Oh, you're my favorite part of K100." That's what he said.
That's kind of his deal. And again, I just haven't I didn't like him working with him. Whatever. He is what he is.
Bro, when I was in ECW, they had this angle. They had this angle where Paulie had all these guys come out, and I was just laying them out. And Bubba went in there, and I hit him, and he didn't sell. And I hit him again, and he didn't sell. And I go, "What the fuck are you doing, bro? Sell." And he still didn't sell. And I was like, "What the fuck? Everybody here sold except this." So from then I really despised him, and because I wouldn't have done that. And so then when he came to Impact, the very first day he was there, he just lit up some younger talent, like really bad, unnecessarily. And I go, "Bro, we don't work like that here. So stop it." And
Konnan definitely always had a adversarial relationship with Bubba. Bro, you ripped him a new mic too. It's like,
Yeah.
Fat boy.
I remember this is back with this was a miserly Konnan when you were in your wheelchair, right? Because you were
Right.
sick, and you called him. You rolled out. It's hysterical. They roll Konnan out onto the stage, and Bubba's in the ring, and he's like, "Hey," and Bubba's like, "What?" Like, yeah, I said.
Basically,
you had no problem ripping the guy on live television. That was
my nickname for him and Devon, who I liked a lot. Devon's really cool.
A lot of people like Devon.
Was Butterbean. Remember the boxer Butterbean?
Mm-hmm.
Butterbean and Krispy Kreme, and so I was always just, launching it at him, and he'd launch some back at me. But I remember Tommy going, I was in WWE backstage, probably visiting Eddie or Ray or both. And he was like, man, I love what you're doing on the microphone because nobody ever, fires back at Bubba, But anyways, me and Bubba ended up becoming good friends.
Yeah, if he respects you eventually, and then he moves, and then it's just how it's just, he's that old school, like, just a, God bless him, he's successful, he does good in life, but I have no use for him. Anyway.
Right.